In a world where pop culture reigns supreme, with too many podcasts and unsolicited opinions, two friends brave the storm to give you just that. Room 303 presents Revenge of the Pod. With your hosts, the Mexican meat connoisseur Jason Escudero, the Puerto Rican nerd aficionado Luigi Orozco, on with the show.
Welcome to Revenge of the Pod, guys. I'm your host, Luigi. We are presented by the Room 303 Network, and this is my co-host,
Jason. What's up, everybody? You know what? Dude, I have to say, I love the intro, but honestly, man, you're kind of the neat connoisseur. You know?
I appreciate that. That.
Yeah, I learned from you, brother. I learned from you.
I guess
I appreciate you, Jermaine. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. That was nice. And I will say you're probably more of a nerd aficionado than I am because you know so much about Star Wars.
Yeah, but comic book wise and stuff like that, I don't know, man. It goes both ways. You know what I mean?
All right, Jason, how you been, man? What you been up to?
I've been hurting, dude. I've been hurting. The reason why I'm wearing this jersey, I know it's not football season. Here you guys go to all the people that are watching the show. I'm hurt, guys. Yeah. I'm a Broncos fan, and we released Justin Simmons today officially to save some money. And all that means is it seems like we're going in full rebuild mode. So we're gonna suck for a few fucking years. Also, I love this player. I understand why we released him. And I hope he goes to a great team that's a contender. So he might go to the Cowboys. He might go to a team that's contending for sure. I'm telling you, this is one of the best safeties out there in the league.
Oh, we could use that.
Yes, he's an amazing safety. Since he's been drafted, he has the most interceptions as a safety. So good player. But I am hurt. Yeah. But yeah, we need to save money because of the trade that we did with Russell Wilson. We're losing out on a lot of money, so it makes sense why we were releasing him.
Well, you guys have Russell Wilson.
Fuck you, dude.
I'm sorry. Well, I was trying to get you to go in on that one.
No, yeah, I mean, but hey, I'm happy for him. He's getting released. I hope he goes to a good team.
Who, Russell Wilson or
Yeah.
Justin Simmons?
Huh?
Who, Russell Wilson?
Justin Simmons, bro. What the fuck? Fuck Russell Wilson.
Hey.
No, we did him dirty, but he didn't do anything for us either. So
did he have a really bad year last year? I thought his year was.
It's a mutual fuck you. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, we released Russell Wilson, and we have a dead cap of $85 million. It's probably going to go down as one of the worst trade histories of all time. We're so fucked right now, dude. It's not even funny. I'm trying to be positive, and then we released Justin Simmons today. I'm literally trying to be as happy as I can right now. I want to cry right now, but we got a show to record, so I'm trying to be as positive I can for the listeners. That's why I'm wearing my jersey. I just gotta try and keep on. I'm still here. I'm still a fan, and I'm still gonna do what we can.
Well, I'm sure that the Cowboys will win just as many Super Bowls as the Broncos in that time, so we're all good. Moving on.
Yeah, I mean, you got two more than we do, so I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, we catch up to you someday.
I just mean we're not going to win any in the time.
Yeah, at least we got 5 and we got 3, so hopefully we catch up. Well, what about you, man? Besides me, anything going on? Anything frisky?
I mean, the Cowboys let go of Tyron Smith, an amazing lineman. I mean, he was always injured every single year. The man is probably going to have a lot of trouble walking for the rest of his life. Like, you wore 2 braces on his knees and a brace on his arm. Like
That's fair.
homie was like the bionic man at this point. He still got the job done, but I don't think they were going to be able to pay him what he wanted, um, or they were not willing to pay him what he wanted, according to Cap. So they let him go, and he is much older. I mean, he's from the Tony Romo era. It's just sad to see him go. He was a great player. So depressed on that one.
Free agency. That's what we talk about in March. Also, I don't know. Happy early birthday, my friend.
We're in the birthday to you.
Yeah. We're in the Pisces era. So happy early birthday. And that's really all we have to talk about as far as updates go, right? So
that's it for us. Yeah, so I actually had some trailers. Let's get up into that movie theater. You got your popcorn. I just got a drink and some candy. I'm not a popcorn guy unless you give me some jalapeno, then I'm
down. Ooh, jalapeno popcorn? What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did I not know this? You like this? Oh, fuck yeah. I'm also down with some candy too.
Yeah. See, when I have popcorn at the theater, I have to have like a cup of jalapenos, and then you just with the boom, boom, boom.
Yes, dude. You don't put it in the popcorn. Like you just grab a jalapeno and you grab like some popcorn and
either one. I prefer them separate just because this is kind of harder to grab when it's in the popcorn.
I prefer them separate because I don't like a soggy popcorn.
Oh, that's fair. For me, it's about grabbing it. Like you kind of got to dig at it, and sometimes it like digs into the pop. It doesn't matter. This is besides the point. The point is, it tastes good together. We're going into the theater to watch some trailers. Sorry, guys. I really got into the details of how I eat popcorn. Anyway. Oh, and by the way, I'm not really even a popcorn fan. I've got some trailers for you, Jason. Have you seen the trailer for American Saga?
I haven't. What? I don't even know what that's about, to be honest.
Honestly, it looks like how can I describe it? Like a Western epic. Because it looks very much set during the period of Manifest Destiny, Oregon Trail, a lot of people moving westward.
Okay.
And just going out on the land, pioneering, as one would say.
Fucking up some natives and taking over their land, kind of shit.
Natives look like they're a big part of this story as well. Okay. Kevin Costner's in it. It looks like he plays.
I saw that trailer actually.
Yeah, it looks like an enormous movie. It really does. I'm interested in watching it.
I didn't like the trailer, if I'm being completely honest.
No?
Yeah, I don't know.
It felt long and old school. I'll say that.
It felt cheesy to me.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I'm definitely gonna watch it. Yeah, I'm definitely.
Oh, okay. Well, definitely let me know, because I think the trailer that I saw when I was gonna go see a certain movie that we're gonna talk about today, it just felt. I was like, I looked over at my buddy that I went to go see the movie with, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. You know?
Do you like Westerns?
I love Westerns.
Do you like period pieces?
Yes, I guess. Yeah, I guess I do.
Have you seen Dances with Wolves, Kevin Costner?
No.
Okay.
I like Kevin Costner.
I'm going to bet that you'll probably enjoy this film, but I'll watch it first. I'll let you know.
He's the one that did that Mexican running movie, right? Where they did cross country, Kevin Costner?
McFarland,
that's the one on Disney Plus.
Pretty sure he did that.
Watch it. That's a good movie, guys. Yeah.
It is a good watch. Yeah. Good one. So that one's coming out. I'm pretty excited to see it. I know, as Jason mentioned, he's not quite as excited.
It just felt cheesy. That's it.
I can see that because it looks old school. Like the commercial looked like a commercial out of the 90s. And I was like,
okay. Fair enough. Honestly, like I would be I'd be happy if you saw it first and gave me your opinion, because if you enjoyed it, I'll probably end up watching it too, because all I'm saying is when I saw the trailer, I was like, I don't know. I'm not saying I hate it. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go see that in the theaters.
It looks like they spent a good amount of money on it.
It does. It really does. The production looks crazy.
I'm interested in seeing what the story looks like. If it's anything like a show that we're going to talk about, then I'll be more than happy to watch that film.
Okay, yeah, fair enough, my friend.
Hey, look at us making comparisons. Jermaine's gonna hate us.
No, we're just prisoners of the moment, I guess.
That comes out June 28th. Horizon: An American Saga, June 28th of this year. Chapter 1. So it looks like there's at least going to be a chapter 2 if it doesn't completely flop. My guess there is that this is a pretty epic story. As they said, saga. I'm wondering how many installments they're thinking about with this. If they're trying to talk about a saga, is this just a 3-parter, or is this like a Star Wars saga where it's 6 parts? Just wondering. Those were some of my thoughts. I see you didn't like it, so I'm going to go on to the next one.
Obviously, just like any other movie, if it doesn't do well in the box office, there's not going to be a second one.
Yeah, it's dead in the water if that one flops, especially nowadays. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Yep.
Next one. I haven't played this game, Jason, so forgive me if you have and you're a big fan, because I feel like people are really big fans of this game. Borderlands, the movie. It looks like a wild ride. I'm interested. Sign me up. I'm down to watch it. Is it going to be good? I don't know, but I'm definitely interested in watching.
I haven't played the movie. I haven't played the game. Do you know what this game's about, or like anything about it? Like, I'm sorry to our fans out there. Haven't played it, so
I know very little. I know that it's a lot of like raiding, but I don't know the main storyline. I just know it deals a lot with like aliens, bandits, things like that. And then there's just I hear it's a pretty big open world, and you can do raids, you gain stuff, things like that. But I don't know the storyline, so I'm kind of excited to go into this one a little blind, because usually I investigate the story and I get myself excited about it. But I'm like, I'll just watch this one for what it is.
Yeah, I just looked it up online. Honestly, that looks so familiar, and it seems like a very popular game. So, sorry, fans out there. I'll definitely do some more research on it. So maybe we'll have some better opinions on it next episode. I'll definitely do some research on it.
All right. We'll definitely get with our video game chat. I don't care what y'all say. It's a video game chat.
It's not a video game chat.
About Borderlands, see what they think of it, because there's people there that play other games besides what we play.
Right. Fair enough.
That's coming out August 9th, though, Jason, so we got some time on that one. But that was another preview that came out of Dune. And did you see the Monkey Man trailer?
I think I did. Or I think I was taking a piss during that trailer. So tell me more about it.
So Monkey Man it very much looks like a lone wolf badass kind of story. What it says on Google is a young man ekes out a meager living in an underground fight club where, night after night, wearing a gorilla mask, he's beaten bloody by more popular fighters for cash. After years of suppressed rage, he discovers a way to infiltrate the enclave of the city's sinister elite. As his childhood trauma boils over, his mysteriously scarred hands unleash an explosive campaign of retribution to settle the score with the men who took everything from him. It sounds like a fantastic revenge story. It very much looks like your typical one-man army type of stories, right? All you need is him. He's going to get through it. It looks like it has some humor in there. Dev Patel is the main guy. Great actor. I still haven't seen The Green Knight, the story of Gawain. I don't know if it follows it exactly the way it's told from British literature, but he did do that film as well. And he came out in, he came out in something else that was big. Lion, Slumdog Millionaire. There it is. Came out in Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah. Honestly, man, I didn't see that trailer on the movie that I saw.
No, I saw this elsewhere.
Okay.
It looks like a fantastic action film, man. I'm definitely going to catch that in theaters. I want to see it on a big screen. It looks like it'll be worth it. You should check it out. Let me know what you think. Monkey Man, April 5th. That one's
See,
around.
every time you say Monkey Man, all I think about is Hey Arnold and the Monkey Man episode. Monkey Man.
I don't know that episode.
No? Oh, dude, he was the kid. So Hey Arnold. Oh my god, all my 90s kids. To everyone that is not a 90s kid, who's not a millennial, I'm so sorry. But if you watch Hey Arnold,
We'll do it anyway.
yeah. If you watch Hey Arnold as much as I did, there was an episode of Hey Arnold. He makes a friend with a kid who lived like up on the roof, and he was pretty weird. I honestly, he might have been autistic, but like he thought he was a superhero, and he made friends with him, and like he called himself the Monkey Man. Oh my dude, Arnold was probably like one of the best characters in cartoon history ever. Like he was just a good kid helping people around his community all the time. Wow, they don't make cartoons like they used to, or maybe they do, because I haven't been watching cartoons like that. But
They still got good.
But yeah, every time when I hear Monkey Man, that's all I think about is that cartoon on Hey Arnold. Any listeners out there know what I'm talking about? Love you.
Yeah, I'll tell you, there's still some pretty wholesome cartoons. Like there's obviously
Avatar.
Huh?
Avatar.
Oh yeah, but I mean like nowadays that are still going.
Oh, Bluey.
Bluey, yeah, Bluey, Loud House, Craig of the Creek is pretty good.
Okay.
They're all very solid. Like they usually have a good moral. I'm not completely caught up with all the cartoons, but there's still plenty of cartoons with good morals, and they still have a good story. So I think you enjoy Loud House and Craig of the Creek most likely. Craig of the Creek, I think you'd like a lot.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, hey, and listeners out there, if there's some good cartoons I should watch, let me know.
All right, so Monkey Man, April 5th, guys, check it out. Jason, what's going on with Netflix? What are they up to?
Well, dude, so we were talking about live action Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm not sure if we talked about the season finale. Did you end up watching the rest of it?
No? You can spoil it. It's fine. I'm not running to go watch it, and if I watch it, I'm not going to be upset if I know what happens.
It is totally fine. So I think if I'm trying to remember what I last talked about, is I don't think it's great, but I really enjoyed it, if that makes sense. You know,
I think you're moved by the original because I think the original has such a good storyline in your eyes.
Yes.
One, for nostalgia, two, because it sounds like they did more character development and story development with more time.
Yeah. No, you're right. In the cartoon series, I feel like they did a lot more character development, which is why they were a lot more cartoonish and a lot more friendly. You know, you're like, I don't like this character, but then you see that character development with him. With that being said, I'm very excited because I finished watching the live action, and I would probably give it like a 7.5. I really enjoyed it. I really did. I thought the actors did the most that they could in this story. Some of the acting was a lot of it was very cheesy, but it's okay because they're basing it off a cartoon. So I'm just like, I'm trying to be very positive about it. You know what I mean? Without being very negative about it. Cause I know a lot of Avatar cartoon fans freaking just hated it. But at the same time, I can't say I hated it. Anyways, it got a lot of viewers. It got enough viewers on Netflix that they decided to renew for season 2 and season 3. So this whole Avatar series is only 3 seasons, which made me really excited for because my favorite character was not shown in season 1 of live action. Oh, raise your hand. Go ahead.
So, do you think that Netflix has found some kind of niche with these live action adaptations of cartoons and or anime cartoons? Because it sounds like they did a similar thing with One Piece where they condensed, and true fans are a little upset because they condensed so many stories into one and skipped some things, but they're still true to what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up because I never watched One Piece, the cartoon series, although I hear great things about it. And I hear great things about the live action anime of One Piece, which I hear like, hey, it's really good. People should watch it. Go watch it. Even if you're not a One Piece anime fan from the cartoon series, watch it because it's still really good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
On top of that, they also did Yu Yu Hakusho, my favorite anime from the 90s, and they did a live action series of it, and I was very disappointed in it.
And so hear me out. They also did a Death Note movie, which is a huge anime, and a lot of people didn't like it. I think they've done a few others that weren't hits.
Did you like it?
I have not seen those.
Oh, okay.
I'm just presenting the information. I haven't seen the anime or the show, if I'm being honest. But what I do know is fans weren't big on the movie. But what they did do well is they brought out the CGI really well for the character.
Yeah.
And what I'm seeing is like they keep trying because they know something's there.
Yeah.
One Piece has worked. It looks like Last Airbender is working. Do you think they're going to continue going down this route of converting anime to live action film for a broader audience?
I would say yes, because right now anime is super popular. It used to be like in our era when we were like in high school, middle school, like it was like you were considered a fucking nerd to like this shit. Now it's cool.
Yeah,
crazy. Like I kind of wish that now. But yeah, like I was reason why like I was kind of disappointed in Yu Yu Hakusho is because I do like what they did with it, but like the story was kind of like upset me. And I think like true anime fans are like kind of upset with the storylines because I feel like you should have paced yourself. And I think that's all us as true anime fans, like we understand that like you don't have 100 episodes to tell the true story, but like pace yourself and give these characters that development and make sure the acting's okay. I think that's maybe their biggest qualm in these live action series, right? And it's hard. Don't get me wrong. Like people do it wrong in movies all the time. Like I remember my sister saying like when the first Harry Potter movies came out and she was reading the books before the movies came out, she's like, they missed this in the book. They missed so-and-so in the book. I was like, I enjoyed it because I didn't read the books. So,
well, and from a sometimes listener, Cole, he read The Shining, and The Shining before that was both of one of our favorite films. It's still one of mine. I haven't read The Shining.
That's my favorite horror film.
Yeah, I think it's probably the best made horror film I've ever seen.
I agree. Yeah.
He read the book, and we both loved the movie before he read the book. He read the book, and he said that movie sucks after he read the book. So it's just,
honestly, even the person that wrote the book said he hated the movie. So, which
is just shocking because it's such a good movie. But I'm like, I mean, the book must have been just that good, right? So I can get that adaptations are pretty hard, but I think they could still do some interesting things with it. I would love. Well, before I say this, I really like My Hero Academia. I would be interested in seeing what they could do with a live act. That's just like a really big story.
Yes, exactly, dude. So you're going to be very disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, if we want to continue, because we've got a lot of shows that we need to talk about.
Yes,
but the reason why I'm excited that they renewed it for a second and third season is because my favorite Avatar, The Last Airbender character was not shown in season 1.
So you're still waiting for that.
This person does not come out until season 2. And I'm not going to say anything about it because there may be some listeners that didn't watch the cartoon series. And this is by far my favorite character. I fucking love this person. And shout out to my people that did watch the cartoon series. This is my favorite. And you'll understand why you love this character. She is a fucking badass, bro. Damn.
Watch season
I didn't mean to say she or he, whatever. She's a fucking badass, bro. I fucking love her, bro.
Well, I gotta watch season 1 so I can check out who this character is.
You gotta watch season 2 in the cartoon so you can see who this character is.
Okay.
You're gonna love her. Dude, everyone loves her. She's awesome, bro.
Fair enough. Let's move into TV land. Jason, let's start with Bad Batch. What's going on, man? Hunter and Crosshair? How they doing together right now?
Bro, so we already talked about the first couple episodes that came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. I thought this episode was a great filter as like bringing them together. Obviously, there's some animosity between Hunter and Crosshair. That's the first time they're seeing each other.
Yeah.
And obviously, Hunter's like, I don't trust you. Like, what made you decide to come back with us? Although we were trying to make you part of our team a long time ago. Now you want to be part of our team? He's like, nah, fuck that. Same thing with Crosshair. He's like I don't know. I thought it was just a great episode, and then like at the very end, where Hunter finally realized that, oh shit, Crosshair went through something, where he realized that the Empire was turning against him, like where he realized that Crosshair was just a number, pretty much.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was a very deep episode for them to like come like. It made you think like, how are they going to get back together? This episode kind of put it together, and they had that conversation without having that conversation, if that makes sense.
In very few words, they had that.
Yeah. Like I killed an Empire soldier, and then Hunter's like, what? He's like, because they treated us like what they did. And then you see those moments where Crosshair is like putting a helmet away, a clone helmet away, and Hunter sees him, is like, why is he doing that? He's like, oh shit. That was part of his team, and he's paying respects to them. I was like, it was just very deep. Those very subtle moments. Again, it doesn't seem like a very deep episode, but it really was. And I don't know, man, they're just fucking hitting it in these final episodes for Bad Batch, dude. Like, I'm trying not to cry right now, honestly.
You're invested. You're invested.
Yeah,
and
very
really,
invested.
the episode almost solely focused on the relationship between the two of them. Because that's what needed to be worked out in the story for it to progress, right? So we're seeing the resolution to their conflict in this episode. Now we can move on. The team is back together. Their next move is what's coming. What's their next move? How are they going to help free more clones? It looks like they may be trying to help Rex and gosh, what's
Echo. Yeah, Rex. We get Echo back. Yeah, we get him back to the team. I think Hunter realizes like I need to protect my squad, and that's why he's like very defensive about Crosshair. But like Omega's like, no, we can trust him. He used to be part of the crew. He's a clone. He's our brother. You need to trust him. And I think Crosshair realizes that, and he understands that because Crosshair, first and foremost, is probably one of the best soldiers out there, and he understands that Hunter is the same boat, and he's like has to try and convince him, and he's like, yeah, no, I am with you. So a lot of deep moments without saying it, they say it. I think that's what I loved about that, why I love that episode so much.
I'm glad you liked it so much. I thought it was a good way to progress the story while also giving us an action-packed episode. And there was a giant ice worm, right? They're trying to get that out of there. They're getting files decrypted, and it ends up just being medical history, but they're getting close to finding that base. It's a lot of buildup while also getting the story moving with certain parts that needed to be resolved. I don't have much else to say on that one, so you can add anything else unless you want to move on.
I will. We got a space worm, a sand, like a snow worm in that. We've been hearing about like, hey, this is a copycat of whatever it is. I just thought it was funny that we saw a snow worm come out when a big epic movie just came out where George Lucas was a huge fan of and took a lot of his content from that. So we'll talk about that later, but I thought that was interesting.
As always.
But yeah, honestly, everyone, Bad Batch again, cartoon series, check it out, love it. Next one, what do you got for me? Well, actually, I want to talk about a movie that I did watch this past weekend, if that's okay.
Yes, please. And I wish you had told me you were going to watch it because I've been wanting to watch that movie. And that would have given me a reason so that we could talk about it on the show. But go ahead. Tell the listeners, how is this? This is nominated, right? This film's nominated.
It was. Yeah, it was. I'm glad. Jamie, actually, we were deciding on what wanted to watch last night, and we didn't want to watch anything that was past 2 hours. So we decided on Past Lives because it had great reviews. Past Lives is an A24 film, and it's based off 2 Korean kids growing up, and one of them ends up going to immigrating with their family to the US. But they were kids growing up, and they were, as kids, like they didn't know if they loved each other or not, right? So they both leave each other, and they were both heartbroken. And 12 years go by. One of the kids tries to find this person. They end up reconnecting after 12 years. So they're probably like maybe in their early 20s, maybe I would say. They start to reconnect, and they have a relationship online like you and me are talking right now. And you love that relationship. Like they're very supportive of each other and things like that. And and the whole story is like how it goes of like, although you may love this person, you still have to live your life and handle certain situations. So although you may love this person, you still have to do what you need to do as far as your life goes, and you kind of grow apart.
Yeah.
It's pretty heartbreaking, honestly, but I love the way that they did it. Without trying to say too much from it, but like that's pretty much the gist of this film. And at the end of the film, I don't know how I felt about it, because like I felt really upset for the lover, the husband,
Mm-hmm.
but you understand what she went through and how she felt about this character and like needing closure and stuff like that. I don't know. It was amazing. I think
in the previews it looks like the husband's a ride or die too. So you're like,
dude, he's a ride or die. I fucking love that dude. Like he understands the situation, and you can tell like he's like he loves his wife, and he's willing to he understands the situation. So I don't know. You definitely have to have very confident, being confident in yourself and also your wife, and showing that like, yeah, no, trusting your wife. It's really big trust on that one. But yeah, it was great. I recommend it. Very easy watch. It's only about less than 2 hours, I would say. But oh my God, amazing story. Again, A24 film. And they're just like,
do it right. They do it right.
Yeah, the filming, like the cinematography is just amazing. Like it's telling a simple story, but they do it well,
That's all I ask. Tell me a good story. Tell me a good story.
Yeah, it's a great closure story.
We both looked at it and we were like, want to see that. I don't know how I feel about that, but I want to see it.
Exactly, dude. Honestly, you're gonna feel the same way. Like after the movie, is like, I don't know if I agree with that, because that's how I felt after the movie. I was like, I don't know how I agree with that. Like if I was a husband, I don't know how I would feel about that. But at the same time, if I was her, I would want that closure. And if I was him too, the other character, I would want that closure. So it just shows like good point of views from everybody. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's great. And it's great. And it makes you have that conversation after the movie, I would say.
I'm definitely gonna tell Gabby, let's watch it. Let's watch it.
I will give it a 8.1. 8.1.
Let's see what happens to it at the Oscars. Let's see if it gets any love.
Yeah, I hope it does. Obviously, I haven't seen any other Oscar nominees, but hey, we'll talk about it next week.
Oh, we'll definitely be talking Oscars next week, guys. We're also going to catch all up on Halo, but let's not get too far ahead. Jason, we both watched the next one, which is Shogun.
Shogun.
How do you like Shogun?
Oh, dude, it honestly, bro, it makes me very excited. I fucking love that our friends recommended it to us. And forgive me for saying this, but like the way the story goes and like the way it's building up with characters and certain characters, I'm sorry, but it reminds me of Game of Thrones, dude. I'm sorry, it does. Dude, there's certain, like, I'm like, who the fuck is this character? Because they start talking about characters. I'm like, who the fuck is this? And then you start finding about this character and you're like, wow, this person has a huge impact on the show.
I mean, we talked about it in the chat, right?
Yeah.
We have things that are in common. I mean, even if you look at the intro to the show has similarities to the intro of Game of Thrones. It's a 3D style with aspects of a map, and it also pays homage to the culture you're looking at.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
I mean, that's there. It has a large cast of people who are getting their character development in a bunch of different ways.
And they're all wanting power.
They all want power. It's a period piece. It's political intrigue. It is war. It is set in a time period in which you still use swords. There's very much, it has a feudal system type of layout, right? There are lords with their vassals. They have, you know what I mean? Like they have their servants. They have peasantry. They have certain ways that they deal with their culture.
There's some gore in it. There's prostitution in it.
Exactly.
Like
it has similarities. There's no way.
A lot of similarities. And again, I'm not trying to compare anything to it because I love the aspect of the show. It feels brand new to me. But like, again, if I want someone to watch it, I'm like, hey, were you a fan of Game of Thrones? Then I think you would really love Shogun. That's all I'm saying.
Yep, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. I think there's plenty of other shows that also have these kinds of styles. I think these have just done it on the grandest scale. Like Game of Thrones and Shogun have done it on a very, very large scale. You can tell there's a lot of money put into both of those shows. I'm so happy with Shogun.
Me too, dude. I am loving it.
To give you a background, I did a lot of studying in school on Japan, and this period specifically has a lot to do with what I learned later. The story is, albeit not chronologically correct, those are actual events that are occurring as you're watching them. These are all things that happened. These are all real characters.
Dude, that's what I heard. Like, once the Shogun is technically the king of Japan, right? Shogun, right?
Well, he would be more like a military leader of the country.
Like a general?
Yeah, the emperor is like the leader, but the Shogun is really the one running the show.
Okay. Because from my understanding, again, I'm not a history buff, so feel free to fucking fact check me if you want, my friend. But from my understanding is something happens and there's like different like houses and stuff that are trying to take over Japan, right? Like someone dies and then they're like, oh shit, this leader died. Now we need to try and take over.
Taiko, right? They called him the Taiko.
Yeah. You may be right, but like I think that like happens historically, right?
Yes, it does. Yes. That event did trigger a lot of other events. It is a bit of a catalyst, although arguably Japan for the 50 previous years had these issues before, because this is all what leads to the unification of Japan. Like this is the end of that story, because there are parts that come before that, but this is the end of where Japan, it becomes a unified state. Japan, the surrounding islands that are now part of Japan,
trading
right now is when they all go under one roof, under one rule, under the Shogun.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get to, I want to talk more, but I don't want to ruin it for you or for the audience. Okay. So we will get to see who comes out on top of that and how that all plays out, because it looks like it's playing out pretty close to what actually occurs.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that the Portuguese have access to trading with them, and they're trying to keep it away from the other Europeans. And that is kind of what made my theory is like, why is this white character so important, right? John Blacksmith, Blackstone.
Yes.
Whatever.
Blackthorn.
Yeah, he's not Portuguese, and he's Protestant. He's not Catholic. And he sees them as an enemy, and Targaryen, the main Japanese dude that they're trying to kill right now, because he has all the power.
Yoshi Toranaga?
Yeah, Yoshi Toranaga. There you go. I think I told you this, that they're going to partner up. And he's like, hey, I need you to go to your West powers or East powers, whatever it may be, your European powers, and give us weapons so we can take over, the Catholics and then my enemies. And I think this is going to cause a huge war. But also, there's a lot of like, hey, what's in it for me and stuff like that. I don't know. It's going to be crazy, dude. I can already see like things happening, and I can see like, all right, I already like this character, but could he fucking fuck us over? You know what I mean? So
Which
again,
character?
yeah, exactly. So I don't know, man. I'm very excited. Again, if you guys want something to watch where there's a lot of action, it seems like there's going to be a lot of character development. Definitely watch Shogun. It's one of those.
But which character do you think is going to betray?
John.
Jonathan Blackthorne. Okay. I'm not going to say anything. His name, I think, in real life was William Adams.
Okay.
And the reason the Spanish and the Portuguese have, well, in this case, the Portuguese have a stronghold on Japan is because of a treaty between the Spanish and the Portuguese that divided up the world. So any new lands that they found, technically they could conquer, and the Spanish could not, and then vice versa. And they divided it by, God, I don't know the exact coordinate lines, but they divided it by coordinate lines. I think they mentioned it on the show, and that's the reason the Portuguese have a foothold in Japan.
And that's funny you say that, because like in this last episode, like did Japan, the leaders in Japan think about that? Like, oh, they didn't think that they were conquering their land, and like Targaryen. Fuck, I keep missing his name. He's like,
Call him Yoshi.
Like,
his name's Yoshi.
Yeah, Yoshi's like, oh, you guys think you're conquering our land? Like you're not trying to trade with us. You're trying to fucking take over us. It seems
slowly.
like.
Yeah, slowly.
Slowly. And I think he like in that last episode, he's like, whoa. Like, so you guys think you're over us? Because it looked like within that whole 3 episodes, it's like Japan is the high power. We're over everybody. These white demons, fuck these fools, like they're fucking scum. And then they realize like, no, Europe is a lot more powerful than you think. And then I think Yoshi just figured that out in that last episode. Versus the other. I don't know.
No, I would agree. I think what gave historically, what gave Europe the edge, right, was firepower. Yeah. That was the reason that anybody traded with Europeans. Most other cultures saw European culture as behind, primitive.
Yeah, they wouldn't shout, right?
You see that in the show, and you see how culturally Europeans were a little behind in that section, right? Even when it comes to medicine and how they treat health and how they conduct themselves. It was interesting to see the cultural clash and Blackthorne realizing like how insignificant he was in this society. But one person saw his potential for power and what he could do for him. And that's why he makes him the samurai, pretty much, right? He turns him into one of his own vassals that's going to help him take Japan if he tries to, right? And Ishido is losing his mind over that because he needs the Christians, the Christian Japanese, and he needs the Jesuits and Portuguese to make sure that he takes over Japan.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. We might lose the main leader in this season. There's gonna be more seasons, I'll tell you that.
Do you think it's gonna be one of those
like Eddard Stark?
Yeah, Ned Stark situations?
Yeah, no, for sure.
All right. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be an interesting way that it plays out. And he gives Blackthorne, I had to look it up, but he gives him the title of Hatamoto. I hope I said that correctly. I'm sorry if there are any Japanese listeners. I didn't say that correctly. But it means guardian of the flag, so pretty much a representative of me, right? So it's supposed to be a really big deal. And I mean, Blackthorne showed up and showed out in this last episode. He really made sure that
Yeah.
Yoshi Toranaga or Toranaga Yoshi.
Toranaga. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yo.
he got out of that situation in many ways.
Also, Toranaga Yoshi, played by Hiroyuki Sanada. That fool's a fucking G, bro.
Great actor, yeah.
G. He comes out. I know he comes on that new Mortal Kombat.
Bullet Train.
He comes on in John Wick 4, Bullet Train. Mm-hmm. This dude is a fucking badass in movie martial arts.
He even has a short appearance in Endgame, I think it is.
Yeah. He's like kind of like I wouldn't say he's like our Jackie Chan in this era, like still doing it as an old man, you know? And shout out Jackie Chan, still doing his thing, right? Like he's one like a Jet Li type of person. Like respect this man. This man is probably, there's going to be some scenes in this season, I already feel, where he's going to be fucking doing some shit. Just wait. Because we barely saw some shit with him. We're going to see some more with him action-wise. And I'm excited for that. I'm all for that.
I would agree. I think Anna Sawai, I don't know how to say it, does really well as Mariko too.
The daughter, right?
Mm-hmm, the female lead.
Her, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, she does a great job. And man, there's just so many storylines that are playing out at once. I don't want to give too much, but I will say they do pay a lot of homage to, and it's funny because we talked about this the other day. They paid a lot of homage to 1960s samurai films. If you watch some of those films, the way that they do their shots is so grand that the scenery is part of the story at times. It feels like it's part of the story.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Love that.
Yeah, and you see that often in this show. Like a lot of the scenery, a lot of what is around them, it almost makes you feel like you're in the room in certain senses. And same when they're outside in large areas. It feels grand, especially in the harbors. I thought that was a really big shout out that I think they did. And if I'm wrong, well, let me know. But that's what I saw. I'm glad you brought up the cultural contrasts. I thought that was hilarious at times, especially when they're trying to treat his wound, and he thinks they're going to bleed him, and they're like, "What are you talking about?"
Oh yeah, he's like, "Yeah, I got sliced. Just started bleeding." He's like, "No, we're going to treat it. We're not going to make you bleed. What the fuck?"
Yeah, those moments where you're like, "Oh, the West was behind in some things," and people don't think about that. So that was definitely fun to watch. It's got a lot of likable characters. There's a character who I thought I was going to hate in the first 2 episodes that came out in this 3rd episode and was like, "All right, I'll help you out. Cool, I'm going to change sides." So
me too. Like the one that was getting ready to stab himself, right?
Yes. I was like, no kidding. Just like that, you take a turn.
He's like a Jamie Lannister type of character. I think that's what he's going to be like.
Oh, I see. Yeah, definitely pretty likable. And then Buntaro, the Mariko's husband, going out like a G, dude, taking out as many people as he could. That was pretty dope.
But did he die, though?
Well, we don't know.
You saw him fighting, and he went into the room, and again, just like, I mean, if we watch shows, and we do, we don't see the knife go in them and their head getting cut off,
there's always
dead.
They're not dead. Yeah, that's true. If they bring him back, I'd definitely like to see how.
Honestly, I can't take credit for that. That's my girlfriend, Jamie. She noticed that. I didn't. She's like, I don't know if that guy's dead. I was like, oh shit, good job, babe. You are right. You are right. I don't know if he is dead.
Well, that's why I'm with you. You're the smart one, Yeah, man, that was definitely a good point to make. I didn't think about that at all either. Do you think Ishido is gonna amass an army and just go attack them in Edo? Edo, by the way, guys, for those of you who don't know, is present day Tokyo. Oh,
honestly, I did know that when we looked it up. But yeah, good call out, my friend. What else was I going to say? There was something else I wanted to say, but you were bringing up some great points, which I fucking love you for that. Honestly, I want to rewatch these episodes again. It's that good, guys. I really love it. Also, I'm also glad that I watched Blue Eye Samurai. prior to watching this because again, I didn't really know much about the Japan history, and Blue Eye Samurai again, it's an anime. It's totally different from.
A little bit of context though
But it gives you some context. Yeah, it gives you some context. I'm like, oh shit, totally forget like how Japan was trying to be a world power as well.
Well, at the time they weren't. They were isolated. All they tried to do was take over. They did have wars with China and Korea,
right?
And those three groups have always had a pretty strong dislike of each other.
Yep.
It shows. They refer to the Japanese-Korean War multiple times already in this show. And yeah, that's going to play out again within the next 100 years. Well,
yeah. It's just very interesting because I'm like learning again. Well, learning more about that thing, right? Like I'm learning that through like shows that I'm watching. Like, holy shit! Like I need to get more educated on this shit, which is nice, and I love it. Like it's very interesting. I like that history too.
Preaching to the choir, man. Preaching to the choir.
I see why you're a history buff now.
Yeah. My sister-in-law said that the other day. She's like, I really like history now. I hated it in school. I was like,
oh, I hated it too.
It's just you have to mature to start appreciating it. And I was like, yeah, but I teach it to young people who don't like it, so that still doesn't make.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Maybe someday they're like, you know what, Mr. Orozco, like he kept talking about it. And he was very passionate about it, and now I understand why he was, because this is actually very interesting. I hated history myself. I was more of a math guy. Numbers made more sense to me.
Well, history is what makes people make sense to me. So I'm like, I like it.
Yeah. No, I love it, man. I honestly, I made my dad watch it.
How do you like it?
Yeah, I went one weekend to walk my dog, and my dad woke up. He's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I was like, "Do you need some shows to watch?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Dad, watch Shogun. Like, this just came out. Nothing but great things." I went to go walk my dog. I came back, and he's like, "I'll watch the first episode. That's just badass."
He's invested. Let's go.
It comes out every Tuesday. Watch that shit.
Yeah. Watch it. I like it. Yeah, definitely check it out, guys. 3 episodes out right now. First one is an hour 15. The other 2 are about an hour. It is long, but it is worth the watch.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it.
To every part of this show. Also based on a novel, which is based on historical events. Oh, I really want to talk about the historical events, but I won't. I promise. All right, let's move on. Let's move on
because our main event is a movie.
That is correct. All right, Jason. Something came out recently. It's a small film. I don't think you guys heard about it. They didn't do a lot of advertising for it at all. There wasn't a
popcorn bucket for it. Nothing like that.
You beat me to it. I was literally setting it up. Oh man. Well, there you go. There the infamous popcorn bucket, which I'm 100% sure is going to be worth ridiculous amounts of money over its its notoriety. One should say.
Like you look at it and like, there's no way. No one can do it. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting bucket. I'll say that. What did you think of Dune Part 2, man?
You know what, man? I was there was a lot of hate going on during the first movie because again, it was a lot of building up to it, but it was just, and again, people argue that like this was just the first part of the first book.
Mm-hmm.
And people were really upset because towards the end of the first movie, it was just getting good. Like, why did it just stop there? I was one of those people because I didn't read the book.
Yeah.
The second part of this movie, like everyone was saying like, oh, this is phenomenal. This is great. This is blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, it can't be that great. Saw the movie. I was like, okay, I see the hype. I like this movie a lot, dude. It was great, dude. I loved it, dude.
It was really good. I mean, it takes all the turns that you're waiting for in the first film, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like you get the full payout of the first film, and that says a lot about Denis Villeneuve. Like, homie, you need to start shortening your movies. Like, I don't know, either that or
but like
the first one correctly, because I like the way he makes films. I love Blade Runner 2049. which I know a lot of our group doesn't, but I did. I thought it was such a well-made film. Dune Part 1, really well-made film. But then on rewatch, there is very little that actually occurs in that movie because it's all set up. It's all set up without any resolution. And you're getting all of the resolution on the back end in Part 2, which makes Part 2 so great. But at the same time, it does take a little bit away from what the first one is when it stands alone.
I agree, but I feel like in order for me to appreciate Dune 2,
you had to watch.
I had to go through the first one. And again, people were like, oh my God, the first one was great. I didn't necessarily think the first one was great. I thought the first one was good. I was like, this is a great film. Cinematography is great. I saw it on IMAX. I was like, this is amazing. Cinematography, amazing. The sounds quality is great. The acting is great. But at the same time, it's like, this is what the hype was about. Then I saw the second one and I was like, this was this first part of the first book. And the second part was just like, amazing.
And I want to correct myself. I don't know if I said it on the pod. It's not 20 books, at least not the original series.
It's 6, right?
It is 6, yes. I don't know where I got 20 from. What the heck am I talking about? But anyway, I wanted to give a little note there, a six-part story on Dune. This is the first part of the first book. If they did it at this pace, that's 12 movies, Jason. That's wild.
Well, from what I heard, the first 3 books or 4 books, if I'm not mistaken, are based off of Paul's story.
So after that, it's something else.
Based off of Paul's kids and stuff. So
okay.
I hate it. I hate TikTok sometimes because like now I know a little bit more about the storyline. So I'm going to be pissed about the 3rd movie because I kind of know where this is going. Hopefully it changes, but I still loved it. The acting was phenomenal. Austin Butler blew my fucking mind.
He's such a great villain. Wow.
Dude,
he was a great villain.
This person, Austin Butler, with very little screen time, made such a huge presence. I said this in our group chat, and I want to say this in our podcast because what he is able to do with such little screen time is just absolutely amazing. He is a method actor. He mentioned in his interviews, like, I didn't want to go full method because I think I would have gone a little bit crazy. But just what he was able to do with this role is absolutely phenomenal. Every time he was on screen, like, he demanded that presence. And I fucking love it. And it was just enough to make Timothée Chalamet within that last scene. And the way it was shot, that last fight scene, fucking amazing.
Yeah, that scene, the choreography was fantastic. It was so well done. Timothée Chalamet, small dude, does great in battle scenes. Does great in battle
Yes,
scenes.
Dude.
It's shocking. I mean, he looked pretty evened out with Austin Butler in that scene. Great scene to watch. Gabby was furious with what happened to Paul Atreides after he drank the water of life. We saw it coming. Like, we knew that it was going to happen. We knew,
That's why he didn't want to go south.
Yeah, I knew that once he drank that water and what he was trying to do, that he was going to take Florence Pugh as his wife, as a political move. I knew it. I saw it coming. I was like, this is the only smart thing for him to do in terms of, like, keeping his position of power.
I mean, he told her, is like, hey, no matter what I do in this, before he mentioned that, no matter what I do, I will always love you.
Mm-hmm.
He said that.
And I think, as it seems to imply, when he had those visions of the future and the past, when he drank that water, clearly he saw something that told him that he has to follow through. Because not only does he follow through, he goes all in. Like, he shows up in front of all the Fremen and he just full out says, I'm your leader. Let's go. And I was like, where did this change come from? Didn't you just say, like, you just want to be one of the guys? Now you're like, no, I'm your leader. And you knew this, for the story to move forward, you know this. and you know that it has something to do with what he saw in his visions when he drank
Yep.
that water. Whatever it is, we're gonna find out. The Dune readers already know, but whatever it is, we're gonna find out what happens. And I definitely want to know what happens to Zendaya's character, because man, she got done dirty. He did her dirt. Whether or not we knew it was gonna happen, he did do her dirty.
At the end of the day, you kind of have to think about what's good for, I guess, the people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he said in that moment, he said, no matter what happens after this moment, he looked back at her. I will still love you. I will always love you.
Yeah.
So it's not that he wanted to do that, but he knows what needs to happen.
Yeah, and
so even though she might hate him, he
knows
has to do that.
He knows that the Fremen are going to go through some serious pain, right? Because he saw that in his visions. He knows there's going to be famine. He knows there's going to be death. What's the payout? Because if we watch it play out and he really does sacrifice all the Fremen, that'll be something. I don't imagine that they would give us a protagonist that does that, but I imagine they did. That would be an interesting way to take the story. That's for sure.
That is true.
Yeah. Shout out to Javier Bardem. Lisan El Gaib.
No, he was great.
That's how the Lisan El Gaib would do it. That is how he would.
Again, one last thing I want to say about Austin Butler's character. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Again, his presence, amazing, demanded that presence. But as a villain, something that you like about other villains, like MCU's character Thanos, right? You kind of respect him in some way. What he was able to do, like when we first see him and he goes into that like gladiator battle where he's fighting those people and he realizes that like, yo, you weaken these characters, you weaken these people. And like he gives them that chance to like, no, I want to fight and prove myself.
Yeah, and I loved that scene in the arena.
Yeah, in the arena. And he's like, you fought well. And he respects fighters. Even though he's evil and he's crazy, that last battle with Timothée Chalamet, he respects him at the end. He's like, oh, like, I respect you. And then, right, that last fight scene. I don't want to, but I think even though how crazy he is, he respects like a fighter in war. And that's why you kind of respect this fight. Even though he's crazy as fuck in this movie, he still respects others and like the way war happens. And
I find it interesting how that family deals with each other, because Stellan Skarsgård's character, the disgusting Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, right? Like he's gross to watch. Like Gabby and my daughter Katya were watching the first one and they're like, ugh. Yeah, they're like, ugh. Then he comes out of that black goo all the time. They were pretty grossed out by him. I was so happy to watch him die. I was like, I'm tired of seeing you on screen. Paul was like, see you, Grandpa. Dun, dun. I was like, yeah, there we go, Paul. I didn't want to see this guy's face anymore either. And then the fight with, Rabin, what's his name? Rabin and Gurney, Josh Brolin's character, and Dave Bautista.
Oh, yeah.
Another great moment that you were waiting to see happen from the first movie, where you're like, this needs to happen. I need to see one of these.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Austin Butler's Fade Rautha. I mean, he steals the show. And as you mentioned, he's only in the movie for 23 minutes. That's his clocked runtime in a 2-hour, 46-minute movie. So he's in it, but yeah, he doesn't show up a lot unless he's needed. I think he did a great job every time he was on the screen, and you could tell even his family members were like, "Oh, do not fuck with this guy." So,
yeah. Like, from when you first see him, he like, all right, is this blade sharp enough? Fucking test it on his tongue. He's like, I don't know. And then he cuts the person next to him. I don't know, man. Again, and the way he does it, so smooth.
His girlfriends or slaves or whatever, they eat people. Very intense. Like, this is a very intense dude. This is not someone that you want to mess with. And he plays the part very, very well.
Dude, I'm honestly very excited to see what he does in his other films.
Yeah.
Honestly, like if I hear Austin Butler is going to be in a film, I'm going to go watch that.
Yeah. I wanna move on to Lady Jessica. I think something Ferguson. The actress is
The mother.
the mother. I we're all
Yo,
agreeing
she's
that she was
controlling.
up to no good, right? Like she's
She's up
really
to-
just serving her own self interests. As much as she loves Paul and wants him to survive, it is part of she wants her son to be the chosen one, right? It's not just we're not just thinking this in our heads, right? She is willing to sacrifice anything for this.
Well, I think she knows it for like the greater good, and she's also part of that women witchery group. I forget what it's called. Sorry, Dune fans. I'm not huge on that, but I think she knows the bigger picture of it.
Gesserit. They're the Bene Gesserit.
The Bene Gesserit, yeah, she's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you look at the end, like she looks at him and is like, she's like, well done. The other Gesserit is like, well done.
Yeah, and that's where I'm like, that's why I think it's not about Paul for her.
It's bigger than Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's very much like I want you to be it because of this story that we've been working on for generations. Is it going to be the right thing? I mean, if we're going for Paul, I assume so, right? He's gonna be the hero.
Just you know, who knows? Again, people, we didn't read the books, so for our listeners that read the books, if we're completely wrong, you can definitely be like, "Ha, you're stupid." Also, let us enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you've read it and you're like, "Oh, these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about."
Exactly.
Thank you for listening. First off.
Yeah. Let us know our opinions. Like, does this make you laugh, or like, oh shit, they're right on it? You know what I mean?
We're gonna find out hopefully in the next installment. I want them to continue making Dune movies now. Like they can't stop on the second.
Oh yeah, they can't stop, dude. It makes you know how much money it made?
I think it was 80 million domestic.
It was 90 something.
90 million. Okay. Do you know
like
the worldwide
budget
number?
was like, yeah, they're definitely gonna hit over the budget. So they're like, yeah, we're pump this stuff out. They're definitely gonna keep redoing stuff.
Yeah, and they keep getting good reviews, so people are gonna go watch that movie.
And are you kidding me, bro? They have Florence Pugh already. She's for sure gonna be in the next movie. You got Timothy Chalamet.
He's gonna play a central role in the next movie.
Yeah, Zendaya. Like these actors are like fucking already fucking hidden. You know what I mean?
What's crazy is
was an Oppenheimer. Like you got phenomenal actors right now.
All these people want to work with Denis Villeneuve. Like they know the way he makes movies.
Yeah, dude. It's just
Bill Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, Josh Brolin. I mean, you could keep going. If I look at the cast right now, Zendaya, Florence Pugh, Timothy Chalamet, Christopher Walken, Austin Butler, Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, Tim Blake Nelson, David Schmaltz. There's so many. Go on, sorry.
No, that's insane. Like that's an insane, great cast. Like those are all good actors.
Yeah, even some of the smaller roles, you start seeing like, oh, I recognize this person. I recognize this person. So it's definitely a grand story. I'm excited, man.
I'm the Emperor. You gotta. Sorry, that's my Christoph Walken.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm the Emperor. You got to listen to me.
He couldn't hide it.
And you know what? He did a good job of not doing that accent.
So. No, I could hear it. That's why I said he couldn't hide it.
Really? I don't know. I thought he did a good job, although he said like maybe 5 words.
Yeah, I think they did that on purpose. They're like, we want you. We just don't want your accent. Yeah. But what did you think of just Timothy Chalamet's, Paul Atreides, Lisan al-Gaib, Kwisatz Haderach, whatever you want to call him, his growth within the community of the Fremen? I mean, most of the film has a lot to do with him being accepted by the Fremen.
Oh, no, I loved it, man. Like, from the beginning, like, he knew he wasn't the person. He didn't want to accept it. And again, like you mentioned, like, when he took and he drank it, he realized that what needs to happen. You can see that turmoil happen with him. He didn't want it, from moving on to that and realizing it and accepting it. I feel like within this second movie, you can see that transition. It didn't feel like all of a sudden like, oh, he was this and now he's that. No, I didn't feel like that. You can see that transition to me, so I liked it.
Well, there's moments that give you hints too, right? Where you're
Yeah.
are those really your
It's
intentions?
bound to happen.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure. He doesn't want them to happen, but at the same time, you could tell that he is ready to step up to take his father's place and try
Exactly.
to make a play for power. Like throughout
Exactly.
the movie, you see that sense in him. I guess it does help to see Timothy Chalamet's acting in other films like The King. Highly recommend if you have not seen The King on Netflix. Timothy Chalamet, Robert Pattinson, set in the Middle Ages. Timothy Chalamet plays the king.
We're seeing Wonka.
Wonka, I would say not the same.
Wonka.
Not the same kind of character, but he does a great job in Wonka.
That's all I'm saying is like he's totally different from his character in Wonka to what he is now.
Oh, I was making a comparison in terms of like.
Oh, okay.
I'm making a leader in acting, like when he acts like a leading character, a leader of men. You can see the comparisons very much in The King and Dune Part 2. You're like, oh,
gotcha.
You're
making comparisons to certain things. I'm kind of just saying like what his range is.
He's definitely got. If you watch Wonka and then you watch The King or Dune Part 2, I mean, I would say The King a little bit more because Dune Part 2 feels grand. It feels more like a blockbuster film a little bit.
Right.
But man, the guy can act. I have some people in my family who are on the fence or dislike Timothy Chalamet. They say he's got a douchey face. He looks like a yeah. But I'm telling you now, guys, you got to check out Wonka. You got to check out The King.
Check out Wonka. Did we talk about Wonka already?
I talked about it last week. Did you watch it?
I did.
It's so good, right?
It's good. It is good, dude. Yeah.
It's totally. I would watch it over and over. I have.
A fun musical.
Huh?
A fun musical.
Yeah, it truly.
And
is.
I love that they brought back the iconic song, right? Come with me, and you'll see.
Yeah, or be. You'll be.
And you'll be right. I don't know. Whatever. Mm-hmm. You know the melody. We all know the harmony. Yeah.
Oh, and when they bring it back, you're like, oh, that's
hit. Yeah.
They brought back the Oompa Loompa song too. That was one thing that I was like,
Yeah, me too. But
I was like, it's fine.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
I still enjoyed it.
I still stand by what I said last week. I think Tim Burton's Oompa Loompas were cooler. They were just cooler.
No. Honestly, now I can say I disagree.
Yeah, no, I wasn't a big like orange and green Oompa Loompa fan, so I'm like,
I'm still the fan of the very first one, and then I would probably say Timothy Chalamet's over Johnny Depp's Wonka.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I actually really liked Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So
cool. Yeah. Also, Willy Wonka reminded me of Matilda's musical.
I've not seen that.
Oh, yeah. So if you liked Willy Wonka, I recommend that you watch Matilda's musical on Disney Plus, the new version.
Yeah. So all that to say, guys, Dune Part 2.
Dune was dope.
Oh Lord. All right. Well, as you can see, we are big fans of Timothy Chalamet on this podcast. Dune Part 2, man. Anything else you want to add to it? I just want to say amazing sandworm scene as well. Made me laugh every time Javier Bardem said Lisan Al Gaib. I thought it was hilarious. I would
hilarious.
I'm gonna give it. Maybe this is recency bias. I'm gonna give it a 9.0. 9.0.
I'm glad you said that because I was giving it an 8.9. Our friend of the podcast, he has been in the show, Thomas, a fan of the cinema, as he likes to say it. He gave it a 9.5.
That's high. That's real.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it still has a little bit of a pacing issue, not anywhere near as bad as
Yo, that's crazy you say that because he did say that. He's like, there is a pacing issue. But still, I give it a 9.5. And I was like, okay, reason of my pacing issue, that's why I give it an 8.9 because two of the people that I watched the movie with fell asleep. So
yeah,
I understand.
I would not take my child to watch that. That's for sure.
Yeah, of
She was
course.
interested in the first one. She watched a lot of the first one, so it's not that she wouldn't be interested. She just would not sit through that length of film. Yeah, that's it for me, man. 9.0. Go check out Dune, guys. Anything you want to add before we let him go, Jason?
No, thank you for listening. Yo, that intro, dope as fuck. Shout out to 303. Listen to them. You guys like sports? Check them out.
Sports betting, check them out. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of Revenge of the Pod. Peace out, guys. Have a great one.